You're still here on News Desk. Now, Ivory Coast ended years of frustration to claim their second African Nations Cup crown following a dramatic penalty shootout victory over Ghana in the final. The Elephants, whose only previous triumph in the competition came back in 1992, look to set for their third final defeat in 9 years when they fell 2-0 behind in the shootout after the teams played out a drab goalless draw in Bata. Let's talk about this game that still got a lot of Ghanaians heartbroken. Baba Tando is with the sports desk and she's here with me in the studio. Baba, are you heartbroken too?
Well, what else? I mean, it's the morning after the nightmare, so
I got over it.
Well, I must try and get over it. I should.
But really, what is the history for both teams in terms of having met before and what it was like back in the days?
Well, the last one I can remember is 92, Senegal 92, when
I think that's what most people are referring to.
Yes. And it was a back and forth marathon, just like what we saw last night. So many of them played. It ended up 10-9 or so, and yesterday ended up 9-8. So, I mean,
so
and
I think
Ghana,
history?
yes, Ghana and Ivory Coast have also played the most times. They've actually met the most times in the AFCON, more than the two sides have played any other country. And so, talk about rivalry, it's very, very high between those two teams. So yesterday, it was repeat or revenge, and I think that the repeat got the better part.
Absolutely. But what does this mean for the Stars? Indeed, we are coming home. We're coming home second place.
Yes, second place.
Second place. But then it also means that it adds on to the years of drought, as you people put it.
So this year was exactly 33 years since the last the Black Stars last won a trophy. That was in Libya 1982. So now we have to wait till 2017. That's going to be 35 years.
2 years from now. But this game was also really critical, not only for the Ghanaian people, but for the Ayew brothers too. In 1992 was their father.
Yes, 1992 was their father who could not lift the trophy because obviously he was calling time on his international career with the Black Stars, and so he needed to win, but he couldn't win. And yesterday, I'm sure he put all the hope and faith in his sons, in the presence of Jordan and Dede, to win at least, to appease him and to make up for the loss in 92. But
you think that explains Dede's
as for Dede's
tears?
Yes, as for Dede's tears, I don't know.
Very dramatic, if
probably,
you ask me.
Well,
very
probably. In my personal opinion, I think it was just because he had a captain's armband like his father, and the fact that he thought he couldn't lead the Black Stars to the promised land. Probably that's just it.
Looks like the Ayew's are not meant to win the AFCON.
Oh, well, I don't think so. That would be too hard.
But let's talk about the game itself. Everybody says that the boys played well, but some people think that Asamoah Gyan shouldn't have been in the game because he was not much fit.
But Asamoah Gyan played over 90 minutes, and he lived up to expectation. I mean, yes, he couldn't score, and the Ivorians also could not score, obviously because of tight defense from both sides. And so you saw the game. I don't think was he limping? Was he limping? Was he limping at
Asamoah Gyan?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He just faced stiff opposition from the defense of the Ivorians, and that's just it. Unless, of course, at a point in time we saw him limping, unless maybe we saw that he couldn't run, unless maybe we saw that he couldn't, yes, he got opportunities, that one or two of them that he should have converted into goals, but I mean, it just didn't happen. And it was the same, because I don't think Gervinho played better than he did. I don't think, who else? Koloture played better than him. Asamoah Gyan played. I mean, he was above average.
But this thing about Asamoah Gyan not wanting to play in penalty shootouts, is it not a bit too petty for
I don't think so. It's a personal. You talk about a certain player called Eric Cantona who used to play for Manchester United. The guy was an idol. He was a god. There were certain things that he usually would not do before or after a game, and nobody could fault him for them for that, because they were his personal things that he thought could do to enhance his career. The guy says he doesn't want to play penalties for certain reasons best known to him. We should just let him be.
When he missed the very critical penalty for us.
Yes,
it makes it really petty that he wants to sit on that.
It is not. I don't think it's. I think he's just doing this in memory of his late mom. May her soul rest in peace. He actually said it, that his mom advised him not to take penalties again for Ghana. And whilst she was alive, he decided that, okay, I will not do this. So why would he go back on his words when she's dead? I don't think it's him being petty. It's something that he thinks he can do to enhance his career in one way or the other. So, I mean...
Another person who Ghanaian had very high expectations of was Kwesi Appiah, who was marvelous in the game before then.
Against Equatorial Guinea?
Yes, but in this particular game. For you, how would you analyze it?
Of course, Renard, that's the head coach of Ivory Coast, he came in with a purpose. I mean, he knew definitely that Asamoah was going to be used as a decoy by Coach Avram Grant, and so the next available people who could score included Kwesi Appiah and Wakasu, as well as Christian Achu. He made sure that he relegated Wakasu to the midfield. He made sure that Kwesi Appiah was not giving the chance up front. He also made sure that Achu was sent, nowhere near the post, and so that was why we saw Achu operating a lot of times from the wings. And so, I mean, yes, Kwesi Appiah didn't have a good game, but I mean, it's just because I think Renard was on top. He actually got his tactics right when he came to dealing with Kwesi Appiah.
But did the Ivorians really play? I think it was just in the beginning of the first half that they gave us a run for our money.
Yes.
But we were at par with them throughout the game.
Exactly, and the Ivorians are a bunch of old men.
I agree.
I mean, yes, they're a bunch of old men, and so if you could see from the 50th minute upwards, they were very tired. And this is what they did: they balanced their lack of match fitness with skill and experience. That was basically what they came to do. I mean, they knew that, look, age is not on our side. We do not have strength, and so we cannot play these guys boot for boot, and so we have to overshadow them with our experience. And I mean, this time, if Avram Grant came to tell me that he thought that his players were deficient in terms of body size, I would agree with him, because the Ivorians were bulkier, far bigger than the Ghanaians, and so I mean, that was also another advantage for them. And so they came to use skill and experience, yes.
Could the Stars have taken advantage of the moments when they were tired? Of course,
they should have. But like I'm saying, Renard also had his tactics. I mean, right from the second half, I knew that Renard wanted to go to penalties. I saw it, because the Ghanaian defense was not going to allow them to score, and their defense also was not going to give us the chance to score. Siakatiene was marvelous for them. So was Bailey. They made sure that they were going to give our strikers and our goal poachers a run for their money, and they did that to perfection. Right from the 50th minute, I saw that Renard wanted penalties, and I'm sure he knew that his guys were going to be his players were going to be slightly on top if it came to penalties. And I also knew personally that if the Ghanaians did not score between the regular 90 minutes and extra time and they went to penalties, they were not going to win. I said it on on Reporters Block here yesterday, that if they wanted to win, they had to score. They didn't have to get into penalties.
So it's a done deal. As the Black Stars can't do when it gets to penalties.
It is not cast in stone. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it doesn't always happen like that. But if you want to win and win convincingly, I think that you should get your chances and bury them during regular play, not during penalties. Because I keep saying that penalties, I mean, like examination in my own parlance, it favors the fool.
And then the was Jordan Ayew, who a lot of people thought that Avram could have brought on a little earlier than he did, even though he may not be a starter.
What is it with Ghanaians and football fanatics? I don't get them. Jordan plays, there's a problem. He doesn't play, there's a problem. What should he do?
They say he's a non-starter, but he's a very good fit for a replacement anytime.
So he's a super sub. How many times has Jordan come off the bench to score for Ghana? He plays, there's a problem. He doesn't play, there's a problem. He's not substituted, there's a problem. He's substituted.
Could it have made a difference if Jordan had come on earlier with a fresh pair of legs
to take off
in the game?
To take off who? To take off Jan? To take off Kwesi Appiah? To take off Christian Atsu?
Kwesi Appiah perhaps, because then at some point we were not feeling the game from Kwesi Appiah. Couldn't Jordan have come
Kwesi
on?
Appiah came on at the right time because I think he started making some runs in the Ivorians 18-yard box in their penalty area. He started making some runs, and so I'm sure that Coach Avram Grant wanted to see if he could do more. But just then, he actually got tired, and I mean, he was taken out of the game completely. He was completely overshadowed, and so Jordan had to come in.
Let's talk about the penalty. Or before then, were there any misses in the game you thought were absolutely useless? We should have scored those shots.
I think they came in the second half. Two of them. One came to Jan, and then the other one was by Wakaso when he hit the post. Yeah. Those two chances, I think
we should have gone with.
Yeah, it was just luck.
And then the penalty. Ivory Coast lost first two, and we should have just sealed the deal there.
That is my problem with Avram Grant. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the penalty shootout. I hardly watched live Black Stars matches. It took a great deal for me to watch yesterday.
For one second, we were this close to the trophy.
Yes.
And then before then...
I'm about explaining that. So it got to the penalty. When I realized that it was heading for penalties, I just got out from... I was watching it at the La Palme Equator Bar. I just got out of that place and walked to the beach and went to sit there. Because I didn't want to hear commentary. I didn't want to hear anybody shouting. So I just went there. When I came back, after we had lost, I asked, okay, so what happened? And then they said, okay, so the Ivorians lost their first two kicks. We scored our first two kicks. We needed Dede to play the third one, or we needed somebody to play the third one and score. And then that would have destabilized the Ivorians. And I don't know what Avram Grant was doing.
So there was a problem with his lineup for the penalty kicks?
Was there a problem with his lineup?
Because then, after the first two, we started losing.
No. He trains the team. He's always there at their training. During training sessions, they practice on playing penalties. So maybe from his training, those who scored their penalty kicks are the ones that he lined up. And
but if you were Avram, who would have been your first five for penalty kicks?
There's Ajiman Bedu, there's Jordan Ayew, there's Dede Ayew. Razak Brahma, I have never seen him take a kick, so I don't know why he was in there, but like I'm saying, Avram Grant saw something good in him. But I would choose Dede Ayew, choose Jordan, choose Ajiman Bedu, choose a Wakaso, and who will be my number 5?
These men were not really there. Ajiman Bedu came somewhere after we had lost about 2 or
like
so.
I'm saying, but I didn't watch. I didn't.
You didn't watch, but for me, that was my disappointment with Avram, his lineup for the penalties. But it would have just given us a very solid.
Like I'm saying, I was told that we scored our first 2, the Ivorians lost their first 2. So all we needed was a regular scorer.
And I was so happy they did, but it all had to end too quick.
Anyway.
Well, thank you very much.
Kamini, just before I go,
right.
So a little bit of statistics. We obviously know that 32 matches were played. In all, it was 68 goals that were scored out of those 32 matches. 5 players scored 3 goals, of whom Dede Ayew emerged as the best top scorer. 5 players also scored 2 goals. 42 players scored a goal each, and then there was only 1 own goal in the competition. It was scored by South African Tulani Haswayo. 2 penalties were awarded Ghana, 2 awarded Equatorial Guinea. Mali got 1, South Africa got 1, DR Congo got 1, Guinea got 1, Cape Verde got 1. And the first goal was scored by Equatorial Guinean Emilio Nsui. Last goal was scored by Andre Dede Ayew of Ghana. The fastest goal was scored by Given Singuluma from Zambia. That was 62 seconds into their game with DR Congo. Highest scoring nation, this would be a surprise, was Ghana.
Really?
Yes, 10 goals.
We did quite well.
This trophy was ours for the taking.
Change our minds about the Black Stars, forgive them of the Brazil fiasco and all the money they took away from us?
Well, if you'd ask me, I think that we should give them another chance. Because obviously they showed us at a point in time in this competition that they were really hungry for success. They wanted so badly to appease Ghanaians. And so, I mean, the intention alone is enough to have us forgive them.
We'll see what we do about that, won't we?
Sure.
Thank you very much, Baba, for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Baba Tando is with our sports desk here at Joy News. Now.